Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. This is Teacher Fazlin and today I would like to give some tips on answering SPM English language paper which is 1119/1. So for today's presentation, we're going to look at 5 areas. The first one, we're going to look at the introduction, followed by the format, directed writing, continuous writing, and I will also share some tips as well as some motivational guides in facing SPM. Right, so the first thing that you need to know for English language paper, you have paper 1 and paper 2. For today's presentation, I'm going to focus more on paper 1, which is the writing paper. So now, when we look at paper 1, there are two sections here. So we have section A, directed writing, and we have section B, which is continuous writing. After this, I will explain more on both sections, okay? Next, we are going to look at what are the important things in getting A plus essay. I'm sure all of you want to get A plus, right? So let's look what are the important things. The first thing that you have to remember, you need to make sure you write good grammar. When I say good grammar, it means that are you writing the correct tenses? Are you using the correct conjunction and pronouns? All those things are considered as grammar. Next one, you need to write varied sentence structure. I will explain more after this. That means you must use simple, compound, and complex sentences. Next one, you have to use wide vocabulary. That means your word is not just restricted to nice, good, bad, okay. So if using the same word is something normal to you, I would recommend that you use various words to make your essay much more appealing and interesting to read. Next one, you have to use all the points and paragraph it well. Okay, this is very important in writing a good or A plus essay. Last but not least, this is basically the X factor or the most important part that decide whether an essay is A plus or just A. So you show originality. You attract people to or examiners to read your essay and feel that wow, this is awesome. Next, please remember to use conjunction. Okay, this is what we call as acronym. Fanboys. So these are the thing. Okay, for it means untuk, and then you have and is dengan. Nor is you use when you are going to connect a word which is negative. For example, neither he nor she are here today. But means something positive, negative, so you want to connect them together. For example, I am sick but I still come to school. Or is giving an option. For example, I don't know whether I want to have vanilla or chocolate ice cream. So this can be used, and yet is to show something that has not yet happened. Okay, something not happening. So for example, I haven't taken a shower yet. Oh, okay. And so is to show what happened as a result of something. Example, she is here, so I'm gonna go. Yeah. All right. So, what are the criteria for A plus? Make sure that you use entirely accurate language. Next one is wide and precise vocabulary. Make sure you use various type of words to describe something very well. And make sure you write the correct spelling, yeah, and also the punctuation, the comma, the full stop, the capital letter, okay, hyphen, semua tu lah. And then paragraph. Make sure it's well planned, properly linked. Properly linked means you use conjunction after that, next, after, okay, later on, something like that. And when you are answering, especially directed writing, you must fulfill the task. If they will ask you to write a letter, you must write a letter. Do not write anything else, or else it's no longer relevant. And when we say interest is aroused, that means when people read your essay, they feel interested to read more until the end. Aha, that is your goal and mission for writing a good essay. Now, let's move on to the format. By now, all of you should know what are the format. We have the article, rencana, and then we have the speech, we have ucapan, we have formal letter, This is surat rasmi, informal letter, surat tak rasmi, and last but not least, we have report, laporan. So all of these are important format that all of you should know. Next, this is something that I always tell my former students, the FCL. We must know what are the format of the letter or format of the essay, and then the content. Make sure you cover all of the contents given. Last but not least, make sure when you put everything together, you use the correct language. Okay, now look at this, the format. Okay, so you must use the correct format. Make sure you read the instruction carefully and fulfill the question. Okay. If they ask you to write formal letter, don't write informal letter lah. You have to make sure that you use the correct instruction and you fulfill the task. And next one is the content. You must use all the points provided. Okay. Use appropriate example. Okay. Give example. Quotes is something like kata-kata hikmat. Example is something like ask not what the country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. That is a good quote from John F. Kennedy. He is the former president of United States of America, and you can use that for when talking about patriotism, serving your country. Yeah, statistic. I don't think this is applicable for all essay, but if you think you know some statistic, please put it too. And then idioms, of course, idiom is important, but don't write don't use too much idioms in your essay. Okay, language. Okay, here make sure that the grammar, spelling, and punctuation are error-free. Okay, check your essay, make sure the grammar, sentence structures are correct. And very, 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 very important, you must allocate 5 minutes to proofread your essay. Most students, the reason why they couldn't get A, the reason why they cannot get good marks is because they didn't check, they didn't proofread your essay. Kena check ya. And then you have to use appropriate terms and jargon. Jargons ni refer to a specific term. Example like COVID-19, netizen, internet, okay. For example, anime, those are considered as jargons, very special term. Use conjunctions and idioms sparingly. Sparingly means you don't use it for every sentence. You use it only when it is appropriate. Okay, this is example of the format for essays based on their based on the type. Okay, this is article. You can see from here, these are the format. Okay, you have the title, you have the writer's name, you have the ending. Next, we have the formal letter. Okay, formal letter, you have the sender, you have the date and salutation. Title, you have also the signature of the person writing the essay. Next is informal letter, surat tak rasmi ya. So you can see that the sender's address, you have salutation, you have signing off. And next one is report. So when you write report, these are the 3 things that you must remember. To the title and reported by. And last but not least, I'm not too sure what is the last one, but speech is when you write about greetings. You must talk about the purpose of your essay, and of course, you must thank your audience. Okay, so let's go to what are the essential tips in answering directed writing section. Let's check it out. Okay, very important guys. Read the question carefully. You must identify the topic and the format required. Important yeah, topic, format. Next, let's look at this question. You are unhappy with the poor condition of your school canteen. Write a letter to your principal. Based on the notes below, write out your letter. So, this is the topic. The topic is about the poor condition of your school canteen. Next, you have to write a letter, a formal letter to your principal. Now, how to write a good introduction? This is the question that usually students ask. I don't know how to start, teacher. Okay, the most important thing you must remember, general statement. Is it positive or negative? Okay, so when we talk about cleanliness of canteen, complaining, of course it's negative, right? Relevant background information. So you must provide some example, some facts, some definition when it is relevant. And then what is thesis statement? Thesis statement is your stance. Stance is pandangan. Okay, your opinion. For example, I believe this is something that we need to handle as soon as possible. So this is what you think. What you think should be done. Okay, sum up point. Okay, so like macam kita buat rumusan lah. Okay, next, directed writing. So identify and label all the content points. Okay, example like this one. Feeling. Okay, you have canteen condition, you have food serve. These are all the points. So how do you do it? Like this. So when you answer your essay, make sure you label. If you don't have highlighter, write it using pen or different color. No problem. Okay, as long that you notify, you write down C1, C2 until the next one. Okay, like this one. Okay, until C12. When writing your letter, you must use appropriate format. Develop all the points given. Give your own idea. So you must use all of this information. Okay. Right, so this is an example or the format for writing the formal letter of complaint. So you have the sender address, you have the recipient address, okay. F2 here is considered as date and salutation and title. And last but not least, you thank the person for reading your letter and sign off. Okay, so remember you guys, when you are writing your directed writing essay, use the correct tense. Present tense, when you want to use present tense, when you're talking about facts, fakta, current events. Past tense is when you talk about past events, something that happened in the past, flashback. Okay, dah lepas kan? And then future tense is something like, oh, I hope, I will do my best to help out in overcoming this issue. That is what we call as hope, idea, and suggestion. Next one, use a polite tone. Because we are talking to a principal, you have to make sure that you're not using a friendly tone. Okay, you don't talk to your friend, hey, yo, what's up, principal? Okay, that's not appropriate in writing a formal letter to your principal, no matter how cool your principal is. When you're writing for SPM, make sure you use an appropriate tone. Okay, next one, variety in sentences, simple, compound, and complex. So remember just now, I told you about the various sentences, simple, compound, and complex. A good essay always have these three variations. Doesn't mean that the first sentence must be simple, second sentence must be compound, third sentence need to be complex. As long as there are these sentences in your essay, it's okay. Example, I give you example. COVID-19, everybody know this is one of the main polemic, main problem that we are facing since last year. Okay, so example of simple sentence. COVID-19 is a deadly pandemic. And then, if you want to talk about compound sentence, it affects global population from Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa continent. Compound, why? Because we are talking about all the countries that are being affected. So we are connecting them together. And last but not least, when we talk about complex, it's something like this. Although it is dangerous, it can be prevented with preventive measure. Although everybody is taking precaution, we still need to be careful. That is complex sentence. Yeah. Okay, so remember that. Now, let me share with you the formula. With my students, I have shared this, but just to recap the memory, you need to remember the 1C plus 2 E's. One content plus two elaboration, if possible. If you think that, oh teacher, I don't know whether I can come up with more than one elaboration, it's okay. But if you want to get A plus, remember you want to get A plus, so you have to aim for the best. Okay, so this is an example, okay, that you can use in order to make your AC better and more effectively. Okay, so you can look at this later. Next one, remember all of these points, Use the correct format. Use all the content point. Never, 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 never leave any of the point, okay? Use all of it. Give relevant own ideas, okay? That means you add your own ideas. One CP or one E would suffice. Just now I mentioned two E's, right? So if you cannot, just one E would be okay. But if you can, write more than that. Don't spend too long on the directed writing. Recheck your essay. See, I put in capital letter. Why? This is important, you guys. And don't forget to P. Points. Include all the points. E, elaborate on the point, okay? And last one is the example, provide example of it. So don't forget to P, point, elaborate, example. Got it? Now, some suggestion on time management when it comes to directed writing. Okay, these are some example, but up to you. If you think that you can write, you can go around this time, fine. But don't spend too long, yeah, for directed writing because you need to write another essay which is longer. Okay. Okay, let's go to continuous writing. Are you ready, guys? I'm all pumped up with this. I want to help you out and I want to wish you the best for your upcoming examination. Inshallah, let's pray for the best. Okay, so chunk in, chunk out. What does that mean? It means that when you are writing your essay, you want to give out that wonderful explanation. You want to give that very vivid or very expressive visual. Example like this. Okay, sophisticated of sentence structure, compound and complex sentence. Remember, I told you just now about sentences. B, descriptive language. Look at this. Cloudless azure sky. So we are talking about cloudless. Cloudless tak ada awan. Azure is a color blue. Okay, and talking about sky. So you can imagine, wow, this is the sky. Again, there's no cloud. Elevated vocabulary for those who wants to get A plus. You want to get A. Use good words like harrowing experience. Is this something positive or negative, guys? You know what harrowing means? It's something negative, like, oh, this is so scary. It's something which is very traumatizing. Then you use the word harrowing. Something negative lah. Next one, foreign context exposure. Okay, sun didn't set until well after 10 for this far north in August. So this is talking about like seasons. Okay, if you want to make your essay sounds interesting or something which is very elaborate, very lovely to read, then you use all these things. Okay, you don't simply just use a simple sentence. It is a beautiful sky. What is the color of the sky? Okay, add more words to it. Is there clouds? Yes, add more word to it. Okay, is it like during the daytime or at night? So you can add more to describe the sky. Okay, this is something that I always tell my students. Show, don't tell. Don't simply just say, oh yeah, he is a wonderful boy. How is he wonderful? You have to describe more to show how is this. Example like this. This is my favorite, my favorite example. Okay, Jimin. Okay, any BTS army here, you know Jimin. Okay, Jimin was shocked. If you just tell, oh, he's shocked, it's not going to be very expressive, guys. Show, don't tell. Okay, Jimin couldn't help himself. His jaw dropped to the floor as his eyebrow shot towards a stampede of fans. Imagine Jimin's fan. Okay, the army just going, rushing to him like wanting to get his autograph. So you try to create that image. That is A plus AC. Next, if you want to describe how angry Alif is, Alif was angry. You not simply just say, he's angry. Man, that's not going to get you A plus. Okay, in order for you to get A plus, you have to be more expressive. Describe his lips. When someone is angry, usually their lips are very closed, right? So purse his lip. Clench his fist. That means you put your fist into like tight balls, okay? Genggam kan? He shivered in fury. Bukan furry bulu fury. Fury is anger. Not able to contain himself. That means he cannot control. Within seconds, he erupted like a raging volcano. So can you see all these descriptive words to describe how angry someone is? So this is some example. I felt happy. If you want to describe, oh, I felt so happy. So you can use this example. If you're talking about someone who's very sad, Nina felt sad. So you can use this word. Tears trickling from her brown eyes. She cried loudly and unconsolably. That means tak boleh pujuk. Pujuk-pujuk pun tak nak. Macam itulah. Okay. Adam was afraid. So this is how you want to use it. Talking about cyberbullying. You can use this word. Detrimental. Dangerous. Causing threats to the society. So these are some words you can use. Okay, now some tips on answering continuous writing section. Let's check it out. So please remember, guys, choose the topic you are most familiar with. You have you are being given choices. You have to choose only one, remember, and write 350 words. So please, 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 this is not a time for you to, oh, I never tried this, let's try it now. No, no, no. You have to choose the one that most familiar with. Yang kita rasa confident lah. Next one. We're going to look at example of sentence of questions. These are example of question, okay? So usually for SPM question, it is something which is not very direct. For example, describe how you celebrate your birthday. No, that is not going to be SPM question. Usually the question will ask you to describe more on the situation as well as your feeling or the effect of that situation. So whatever the question is, always remember that they will always ask what happened, why did it happen, how did it affect you. Usually all these elements are there. So you must know your WH question, yeah. Okay. So like this, describe a day you spent with your best friend. Next, how to stay safe during COVID-19. Then you also write a story and they ask you to end your story with this sentence. And they can also ask you a factual essay like this one, face more challenges compared to adults. So whether you agree or disagree, you have to give your opinion. And then last one is write about how you hope to achieve this year's New Year's resolution, and all these things are part of the question. Now, you have to choose only one. So when you do this, my dear student, remember you need to brainstorm. Never straight away answer the question. You choose first. Oh, which one is the best question that I can answer? You brainstorm. Then you do a bit of mind map. What type of mind map you can do? You use the WH question. Remember WH question? The what, who, when, why, how, all those things, yeah? And then write down the keywords. For example, if we're talking about a person, what is the feeling that the person is facing, something like that. Or if you're talking about a place, okay, what is the name of the place? How you describe the place and all those things. Okay, these are the steps that I can tell you. First, you brainstorm, you elaborate your points, you give example, and of course, last but not least, but so important, you need to recheck your essay. Okay, proofread your essay. Okay, remember when you are writing a story especially, these are the important things that you must remember. You have the characters. First person, third person. First person ni macam mana? How do you write the first person? Example like I. This is the easiest way to describe a story, to start a story. Talking about I. And then you have the third person. For example, Ali, Abu, Aminah, semualah. All those, you can use whatever names that you want. But please, my dear student, don't spend too much time thinking, which name I want to use. Don't waste time. Characteristic and emotion. Describe. What are the characteristics of your characters? Next, you have to decide the setting of place, the setting of time, and use your senses. Remember what are senses? What you can see, what you can hear, what you can taste, what you can smell, what you can touch. All these things are your senses. Use that to describe about all the thing or your story better. And you have the plot. Without a plot, there will be no story. So, what is the introduction of your story? And then what is the rising action? That means what happened. For example, went to the village and then suddenly it was raining heavily. You're stuck in the village. And the climax, what happened? Suddenly, like, okay, the village is being hit by a tornado. Okay, and then what happened? Okay, and then you were being trapped in a house for days, and somebody tried to find you. And the conclusion, and then later on, like say the fire brigade or the firefighter managed to find you and save you. That is example of the plots. And okay, so these are the senses that I told you before. Okay, so remember, sight, what you can see, touch, okay, what you can touch, and then you have the taste, okay, what you can rasa lah, and then you smell the sound. Okay, important, yeah. Okay, these are the things that you should know. There's a variety of sentences. Okay, simple, compound, complex. Remember this. Just now I remind you in directed writing, continuous writing is the same. Okay, these are the words cloud. They are the word clouds that you can use to describe people, place, event. Usually, you are describing people, place, event. So you can read this later. I'm not going to read each one. Later on, you can look back at the video. Okay, use sentence connectors. Okay, example like this. Alright, so these are the sentence connectors that you can use. Next, spice up your essay with idiom. Same like directed writing, you can use all these things also. Okay, idioms. Alright, figurative language, jargon. Jargon adalah terma. That means like netizen, internet, COVID-19. Those are what we call as jargon. Okay, so I'm not going to read every word here, but later on when you go through this video again, you can look and you can stop and pause and look at it. Okay? These are some example. And guys, read again and check for grammatical, spelling, punctuation error. Very important. Okay, this is very important. You must check all these things because sometimes you might have written a good essay, but because of these small errors that are happening very frequently, it might affect your marks. So please, yeah. Now, when we talk about timing for continuous writing, this is where you have to plan very well because continuous writing, you have to write very long essay. So please remember that about 30 minutes to write the main essay, and please 5 minutes to check. You know what? Because some students say, teacher, the longer the better. Not necessarily. As long as it's about 350 words, it's fine. The most important thing is having time to check your essay. If you don't check your essay, your the possibility of your essay to have a lot of mistakes is higher. So, okay, remember to check your essay. Okay, some reminders, guys. Pick the question that you can do the best. Okay, from the 5 questions, choose the one that you can, you're confident you can write. Attempt the question requirement. Make sure you answer what they ask you to do. At least 5 paragraphs, yeah. And check your sentence after writing. Recheck your essay. So pretty much that's about it. And just now I told you that I will share with you some tips. All I can say, when you get your question, take a deep breath, don't panic, read the question slowly, okay, and make sure slowly but not too slow, okay, and then make sure that you don't miss any points for directed writing. For continuous writing, remember, always have time to recheck your essay. So that's about it. I wish you all the best, my dear student. Ya Allahu Akbar. I have nothing but the best wishes for all my students. I love all of you, even though I'm not here. I always pray the best for my students. All the best, and inshallah, you'll succeed. And I wish all of you will get A plus for your AC. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Okay, so that's all. Thank you, guys. Assalamualaikum.